Hello, everybody. Who you got think is going to win this fight? UFC heavyweight title. Jones and Stipe. I'm looking forward to this fight. Let us know what you think. Who's going to win? Let's get into it.
It's going to be rare. You are the captain of your gray square. You are in charge of how far you make it, and I like that.
Yeah.
Wait till he goes to heavyweight. You're gonna see the old John when he weighs actual where he thinks it's a challenge. Wait till you see Stipe or Francis. You're gonna see.
I hope UFC make this fight.
He's not going to return to 205 pounds.
There is always discussion of the greatest of all time, but when it enters the heavyweight division, there is only one, and it's the silencer himself.
I'm the greatest heavyweight. I defended it 3 times. No one's ever done it.
Dude, Stipe's nasty.
But he also proves himself because of the adversity that he had to go through. It also proves himself as a man of his word, saying, I know I can beat that guy, and I'm not going to fight anybody else. I deserve that fight. Turns out Stipe was right. He sure as hell did deserve that.
Notable wins. Daniel Cormier, who he beat twice. He beat Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, Fabrizio Verdun, Andrei Arlovski.
Battle between this era's most dominant foes in 2022.
After this fight, then we got Francis
Stipe Miocic versus John Bones
Let's
Jones.
see who's gonna finish Francis. Hopefully Francis get back in UFC.
To determine the greatest of all time, you must carefully evaluate one's accomplishments inside and outside the octagon. The records, the championship,
It's gonna be the new.
the caliber of
Or it's gonna be
What he did to everybody. John smashing people.
But the true test of character outside the cage is where
Come on,
John
John.
Bones Jones has
Come on, Stipe.
controversy.
I think when I come back as a heavyweight, I'll try to do
Come on,
more
UFC.
legally controversial shit.
The domestic violence arrest of MMA fighter John Jones. Jones was arrested in Las Vegas.
TMZ Sports has obtained some details from John Jones's arrest last Friday in Las
Dude, I
Vegas.
wonder if this is that fighter's car. John Jones?
In Las Vegas Friday morning.
The city is not good for John Jones.
John is arrested for a domestic dispute.
I think everything is on pause right now. This is serious.
Yesterday he appeared in court and was later stripped of his title.
While John Jones was committing acts of crimes and controversy, Stipe Miocic was at the top of the heavyweight division, slaying everyone.
The new heavyweight champion!
Opponent by opponent. He secured his spot as the greatest heavyweight to ever grace the canvas.
Now he enters the octagon over DC. 2-time UFC heavyweight champion.
There's the right hand
Cormier goes down.
Stipe's hands are just looking so heavy. Incredible.
greatest UFC heavyweight champion of all time, without a doubt now.
Let's go.
Interesting news coming out from Dana White himself, saying that he's targeting Stipe Miocic versus John Jones, the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the greatest light heavyweight of all time, the most prestigious fight in UFC history.
I feel like I really want to fight Stipe Miocic. I feel like I could beat him. My speed differences, my fight IQ, my versatility, my faith and confidence. I think I'm the guy to beat him for sure.
Title shot of John Jones, it sounds like.
The most successful heavyweight still competing today. Hard to believe anybody can touch him.
They want to put an interim title on the fight between Stipe and Jones, as Francis Ngannou is out with an injury. Ngannou does vacate the title. They can promote the interim champion into the undisputed champion.
He's just crazy. That means John's the baddest motherfucker at 205 ever.
Yeah, I fought so many world champions under my belt that I've defeated.
If you're gonna be that good, you gotta be a wild motherfucker.
This guy is a superhero. He's a character. People like this don't exist. exist.
He's something special.
He really is.
Overall, he is the most accomplished heavyweight champion in the UFC.
This will set the heavyweight division on fire. It will capture the imagination of John Jones versus Stipe Miocic for the interim title.
When I saw it on my Instagram feed this morning, I threw my arms up in the air like somebody got knocked out.
Come get a taste. I'm here.
Don't you come back no more.
John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. UFC fans.
You know, there's actually a real fight that I want to see after this fight. You know, Jones and Francis, they have to fight. We have to see. I know Francis will win that fight. He's fast. He's stronger. He hit harder. No, Jones is cool. He got the...
Early on in his career, Francis had a fight in France. At the time, his technique wasn't much to look at, and his punches were far from perfect. But with each fight, he tended to show better results. Belgian Arab Belal Tatahi was one of the first to get a taste of those massive knockouts. Ngannou started out with a few kicks that were followed by a straight jab on the jaw. Francis's abnormal power could be sensed from afar. Poor Tatahi could barely walk after the fight was over. Francis received $2,000 for that fight, and he came to realize that there was a place for him in MMA. In December 2015, Francis had his UFC debut. With a record of 5-1 and a weird funny haircut, he was ready to fight the 22-year-old Luis Enrique. At the time, Enrique won 6 times and his grappling skills were off the hook. It was his plan from the very start to take down and restrain Francis on canvas, show him what UFC was all about. A few minutes later, they got up, but then Enrique tried to do exactly the same thing again. He was so pushing that by the end of the first round, he nearly went to sleep. Already in the second round, Enrique got very tired. Ngannou sensed that and found a moment to use his advantage by the end of the round. After a series of punches that Enrique couldn't block very well, he took that final uppercut that made Predator's first appearance in the UFC very memorable. Third fight for Ngannou, a debut for Bojan Mikhailovic. Having won 10 times in a row prior to that in Europe, the Serbian felt quite confident to take the risk. As it soon turned out, he fell prey to the big African Predator very soon. But not until he ran around the octagon for a good deal of 5 minutes. When he finally had nowhere to go, he looked like he was finally ready to run away.
69 US Special Forces device turns men into beasts. It emulates 54,000 crunches.
Ngannou chased him down with a series of mighty punches and then finally hammered poor fellow right down to the floor. The Wild Predator won 4 times in a row and was number 10 in the rating by then. The UFC ex-champion Andrei Arlovski, with his name high up at the top, seemed like a good test at this point in his career. Arlovski easily avoided a really heavy right hand in the first round. He figured he should apply his legs more and also aim for Ngannou's head once or twice. One of those attempts finally turned real ugly for Andre. The That brilliant KO brought Ngannou a substantial bonus, and from that moment on, he was allowed to fight at the top league. The fight against ex-champion Cain Velasquez surely is a memorable one in Ngannou's career. Millions of fans all over the world were eager to see and hoping for Velasquez's great return after almost 3 years. The media highlighted the fight as the best heavyweight cardio against the most ruthless punch. Unfortunately for Velasquez, his excellent cardio didn't give him much advantage over the abundance of might that Predator had in that fight.
But in terms of his body, he's never felt more confident in it. Oh, he got hurt. Oh my goodness gracious!
It wasn't very clear at first why Velasquez fell, and many fans were blaming his knee for that. But then everyone saw that the actual reason was Ngannou's classic heavy uppercut. The ex-heavyweight king went down screaming as Ngannou closed the show with a hard hammer punch. In September 2017, Ngannou was going to fight Dos Santos, but he sat a suspended Brazilian for half a year after his positive drug test. Could be worse, but Dos Santos managed to prove it was not his intention to take prohibited substances. That was a good rest. After the break, Junior Dos Santos won 3 times in a row and went much higher up in the rating. He was confident to win again, but that was before the fight against Ngannou. The fight started with Santos trying a right low kick that almost made Francis fall. Cold-blooded Ngannou didn't move a muscle after that, and didn't even try to hit too hard. Waiting for the right moment to come, the Predator pressed Junior against the net and landed his first right arm. And 20 seconds later, he did that again, and again, and again. An unlucky overhand left Brazilian unprotected. The Predator took his chance and didn't leave one for Santos. The talk about fighters being scared of the Predator spread even more. It's been 2.5 years since Francis fought Curtis Blaydes. Over that period, Ngannou lost his hype by losing 2 times in a row and the way he behaved in the fight against Derek Lewis. By this time, Blaydes won 6 fights, one after another, was third in the rating and everyone's favorite at the start of the fight. Right away, Curtis tried to take down Francis, but the latter only fixed himself in the center and was now waiting for Curtis to make a mistake. And fair enough, there it was. Seems like that strike was supposed to be the end of the fight, but the ref decided to give Blaydes another chance. A chance to get beat up even more.
Yes, you beat me at halftime, but listen man, I'm back.
After another series of victories, Ngannou was once again in the game, striving for the champion's belt. Only because of Cormier versus Miocic's situation, he was bound to either wait for the top fight or otherwise fight lower rating class fighters. And so he skipped an entire year and ultimately agreed to fight Rozenstruik. Jorginho Rozenstruik was mostly known as a ruthless kickboxer with over 60 knockouts behind his back. Common to MMA, he continued the tradition with 9 clean KOs out of 10 fights. Seems like he was hoping to surprise Predator with a little something, but as the wind blew, Ngannou's deathly windmill didn't leave a single chance for the renowned knockout.
Oh! It's on. Rozenstruik is out! Ngannou!
The fight has become a great example of the fact that sole power can sometimes beat timing, speed, and technique. Another bonus for Ngannou and a chance to claim the title. It's been 3 years after his first fight with Miocic. Since then, Ngannou moved to the US. He gathered a new team, won 4 more fights in a row, and now had a second chance to win the belt. A lot of things happened in Stipe's life as well, one of which was that he finally finished their epic trilogy with Cormier. There were a lot of predictions prior to the big fight, but no one was expecting anything of the sort that actually happened. People were saying that their fight was still fresh in Ngannou's memory. Nobody wanted to take the risk at the start. Although, as usual, the Predator took his favorite spot in the middle of the cage and started to attack from there. First few punches were enough for Miocic to decide he had to restrain Ngannou at all costs. At some point, Francis felt so comfortable he even landed a deliberate high kick. Stipe's high hopes were that Francis will soon get tired, but that never happened. On the contrary, he missed Ngannou's left hand, and a few seconds later was knocked down. He stood back up, but only to pay the price of yet another mistake he made. The left hand that came out of nowhere and landed directly on Stipe's jaw finally put an end to the biggest fight in Ngannou's career at the time. Victory over Andrei Arlovski gave Francis even more confidence. From there on in, a lot of people wanted to see the Predator chase down Alistair Overeem. The Dutch won 6 out of 7 fights, only losing to Stipe Miocic. He was number 1 in the rating, so the stakes were high. A couple of weeks before the fight, Ngannou set the official new record for the hardest punch in the world, having clocked a striking power of 129,000 units. Soon after the fight began, everyone had a chance to see what actually happens to power cubes when they get replaced by people like Alistair Overeem.
Maynard's wrong to try to get a matchup with him.
Crazy left uppercut followed by finishing strike, the best knockout of the year. The KO so heavy that Overeem seemed to have experienced something akin to clonic seizure. If you guys want to see more videos like that, don't forget to press the like button, be well, and we'll see you another time.